Madam President, so good to see you. Thank
So
you.
nice to see you.
We're delighted with the hospitality. Look forward to this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
戴亚门资深研究员
So wonderful to be with you. Thank you for having us.
President,
It's very nice to see you.
I know you.
It's great to be back.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you so much.
麦克福尔资深研究员
Honored to meet you.
史蒂文山监事会主席
Thank you. So nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
夏威主任
Nice to meet you.
特宾先生
Thanks so much.
惠民研究员
I bet some of you are.
齐凯丽研究员台安研究员库纳拉吉斯先生贝德执行人史凯迪副主任
Yes, please be seated. Oh, this must be a delegation with most intellectual capability. 爱丽丝将军、戴亚门教授、伯明先生，以及麦克福尔大使、史蒂文森大使，各位贵宾，大家好。
Admiral James O. Ellis Jr., Dr. Larry Diamond, Mr. Matthew Pottinger, Ambassador Michael McFaul, Ambassador Thomas Stevenson, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
欢迎各位来到台湾。近期以来，有许多美国重要人士来访。今天又有爱丽丝将军率领胡佛研究院访团来到台湾。在这个关键的时刻，各位不远千里来访，格外具有意义。
I welcome you all to Taiwan. Recently, a number of prominent U.S. leaders have visited us. Now, a delegation from the Hoover Institution, led by Admiral Ellis, is also visiting Taiwan. Your traveling so far to be here at this critical moment is extremely meaningful.
胡佛研究所是美国公共政策最具影响力的智库之一，也是美国政府制定政策的重要参考，更是国际社会了解台海局势的权威管道之一。
The Hoover Institution is one of the most influential U.S. public policy think tanks. Its research serves as an important reference in U.S. government policymaking. It is also an authoritative source from which the international community draws its understanding of the situation across the Taiwan Strait.
尤其胡佛研究所将中国威胁列为首要研究核心议题，并将台湾计划纳入国家安全专案小组，使得台湾的相关议题受到更广泛的讨论，也让台湾获得更多的认同与支持。在此，我要表达对胡佛研究所的团队的感谢。
In particular, the Hoover Institution has focused on the threats posed by China as one of its core areas of research. Combined with the work of its project on Taiwan in the Indo-Pacific region and its task force on national security, this has created a broader discussion of Taiwan-related issues and thereby raised the recognition of and support for Taiwan. For this, I would like to extend my appreciation to the entire Hoover research team.
今年俄罗斯入侵乌克兰已经显示威权主义正在不断的扩张，乌克兰人民挺身而战，捍卫家园，给了全世界一个重大的启示，那就是民主自由必须要靠自己来守护。
Russia's invasion of Ukraine this year has highlighted the continuing expansion of authoritarianism. Yet, in standing up to fight for and defend their homeland, the people of Ukraine have been a great inspiration to the rest of the world. They have shown the necessity of safeguarding one's own freedom and democracy.
64年前的823战役，因为台湾军民团结一致，守护住台湾，才有今天的民主台湾。
64 years ago, during the Battle of the Taiwan Strait of 1958, our soldiers and civilians operated in solidarity and safeguarded Taiwan so that we have the democratic Taiwan of today.
这场保卫战也向世界宣示，任何的威胁都无法撼动台湾人民捍卫国家的决心。过去如此，现在也是这样，未来也是一样。
That battle to protect our homeland showed the world that no threat of any kind could shake the Taiwanese people's resolve to defend their nation, not in the past, not now, and not in the future.
我们也会向世界证明，和平、 安全、自由、繁荣，台湾人民有决心也有信心守护。
We too will show the world that the people of Taiwan have both the resolve and the confidence to safeguard peace, security, freedom, and prosperity for ourselves.
这一阵子，中国在台湾周边区域进行军演，已经对台海及区域的现况造成极大的威胁，包括周边区域国家以及全球民主伙伴都提出了强烈的关切。
Recently, China's military exercises in areas surrounding Taiwan have posed significant threats to the status quo across the Taiwan Strait and throughout the region. Countries in the region and global democratic partners have expressed serious concern for China's actions.
但也因为如此，这些挑战更提醒我们民主伙伴之间应该要强化结盟的力量，共同防御威权国家的干扰，并且携手捍卫区域的和平稳定。
At the same time, these challenges have also reminded us that democratic partners should strengthen the power of their alliance, jointly defend against interference by authoritarian states, and work together to protect regional peace and stability.
我要感谢包括美国在内的 G7 国家在国际上对台湾的坚定支持，也再次的强化了我们强化自我防卫的决心。
I would like to thank the US and other G7 members for their staunch support for Taiwan, which has once again strengthened our determination to consolidate our self-defense capabilities.
台湾位处于威权主义扩张的最前线，我们也不断的强化国防自主的能力，也将会和美国在这方面持续的合作。
As Taiwan stands on the front line of authoritarian expansionism, we continue to bolster our defense autonomy. We will also continue to work with the US on this front.
因应全球威权主义的扩张，台美双方更应该在一起打造更安全、更有韧性的供应链，这也是我们目前重要的任务之一。
With autocracy continuing to make inroads around the globe, Taiwan and the US should also be working together to build safer and more resilient supply chains. This is one of our key priorities.
就在上个礼拜，台美双方同步宣布启动台美21世纪贸易倡议的协商谈判。透过这个平台，我们希望进一步的迈向高品质的台美贸易协定，并且深化台美在各领域的合作关系。
Just last week, Taiwan and the US announced simultaneously the start of negotiations under the framework of the US-Taiwan Initiative on 21st Century Trade. Through this platform, we hope to move toward a high-quality trade agreement between Taiwan and the US and deepen our cooperation in all areas.
相信未来这样的合作可以吸引更多国际投资来到台湾，也会为台湾提供更多的诱因前往美国进行投资布局。这样的互利双赢，能够为台美双方的人民创造更大的稳定跟繁荣。
We believe such cooperation will attract more international investments to Taiwan and provide more incentives for Taiwan to invest in the US. This win-win situation will create greater stability and prosperity for the peoples of Taiwan and the US.
最后，我要再次感谢各位的来访，谢谢。
Finally, I once again welcome you all. Thank you.
Madam President, we are deeply honored by the courtesy you have extended in meeting this morning with our Hoover Institution delegation. We are a diverse group of specialists on Taiwan, the People's Republic of China, and United States foreign policy and national security.
蔡总统阁下，胡佛研究所访团一行深感荣幸，今天与您在此会面。我们的成员分别有多元的专长领域，包括台湾、中国、美国外交政策和国家安全等领域。
We have different political leanings and different views on domestic and foreign policy issues. However, we all share a deep admiration for what Taiwan has achieved as a democracy, as an open society, and as one of the world's most dynamic and innovative economies.
我们对内外政策问题有不同的政治倾向和不同的看法，但是我们都对台湾的成就深感钦佩。台湾是一个民主开放的社会，更是世界上最有活力与创新的经济体之一。
And thus we come with deep concern about the escalating threats to peace and stability for the people of Taiwan and the Indo-Pacific region, as well as the growing challenges to the security of semiconductor and other supply chains on which the entire world depends.
因此，我们此行相当关切台湾以及印太地区备受威胁的和平稳定，也十分关切全球所仰赖的半导体及其他供应链正遭遇越来越大的安全挑战。
Now, more than ever, we believe it is important for individuals and institutions in the United States and other countries to demonstrate support for Taiwan's right to exist as a self-governing democracy, to cooperate with its vibrant private enterprises, particularly in the high-tech sector, and to maintain close connection to and solidarity with Taiwan's creative and freedom-loving people.
比起以往，我们现在加倍地认为，美国和其他国家的个人及机构一定要表明支持台湾作为自治民主政体有其存在的权利，一定要与台湾活跃的民间企业合作，尤其是在高科技领域，并且一定要与台湾富有创造力和热爱自由的人民保持密切联系和团结。
We would like to express again our appreciation to the government of Taiwan, and especially to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for its generous cooperation in hosting our delegation and helping to arrange meetings for us with numerous leaders in and outside of government.
在此要感谢台湾政府，特别是外交部慷慨接待本访团，并协助我们安排与政府和民间的多位领导人会面。
We also want to acknowledge your government's cooperation in ensuring that we have an opportunity to hear from diverse parties and points of view during our stay in Taiwan. After all, a core distinction between democracy and autocracy is that democracies embrace pluralism and recognize the fundamental truth that no one leader or party has or should pretend they have a monopoly on the truth.
在此也要感谢台湾政府，确保我们在台湾访问期间有机会听取跨党派及各方观点的意见。毕竟，民主与专制之间的核心差异就在于民主拥抱多元主义，并且承认一个基本事实，那也就是没有任何领导人或政党能够垄断或假装垄断真相。
Taiwan's hard-won standing as one of the most liberal democracies of the post-Cold War world is a major reason why it enjoys such admiration and broad and deep support in the United States and elsewhere in the world.
台湾作为冷战后世上最自由的民主政体之一，不是一蹴而就，也因此才会在美国和世界各地广受敬佩，并获得广泛深厚的支持。
We have come here principally to listen and to learn. But our presence here also reaffirms the ongoing commitment of the American people to deepening cooperation between the United States and Taiwan. Consistent with the Taiwan Relations Act, part of this cooperation involves strengthening Taiwan's capabilities for self-defense, as well as the ability of the United States to deter and resist any resort to force across the Taiwan Strait.
我们此行的目的主要是为了倾听和学习，但此行同时也是要重申美国人民对于深化台美合作的持续承诺。根据台湾关系法， 这项合作包括加强台湾的自我防卫能力，以及加强美国嚇阻和抵御台海武力行为的能力。
As you noted in your gracious remarks, effective self-defense involves more than purely military capabilities. It also requires a clear demonstration of both readiness and will, along with vigilance on many levels to counter intimidation, disinformation, and gray zone intrusion.
诚如蔡总统所提到，要达到有效的自我防卫，不只要有军事能力，还必须展现明确的准备和意愿，而且在众多层面上要保持警惕，以应对恫吓、假讯息和灰色地带攻势。
As you also noted in your remarks, these tasks have taken on new urgency in the wake of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It is important that we all learn appropriate lessons from that conflict, including the complex requirements of deterrence, the scope for miscalculation by authoritarian actors determined to achieve political objectives, and the considerable potential for large numbers of small, lethal, resilient, and distributed weapon systems to help repel a powerful aggressor.
同时，也如蔡总统所提到的，在俄罗斯入侵乌克兰之后，我们所提到的这些任务更加的迫在眉睫。我们必须从俄乌冲突当中吸取适当的教训，了解如何有效嚇阻，了解威权统治者的政治野心和误判情势可能造成什么样的影响，并且了解如何运用并分配大量的小型、致命、有韧性的武器，以用来击退强大的侵略者。
At the same time, we want to explore and highlight the scope for mutually beneficial cooperation between Taiwan and the United States in areas such as high technology, manufacturing, healthcare, education, energy, climate, and other forms of trade and exchange.
同时，我们要探索并发扬台美互利互惠的合作领域，包括高科技、制造、工卫、教育、能源、气候、贸易以及其他交流。
The most successful and enduring forms of cooperation among peoples are based on shared values. In particular, the common commitment that open societies have to democracy, to freedom of expression, and to the rule of law. The importance of these values to Taiwan's continuing security should not be underestimated.
人民与人民之间的合作要成功且长远，就必须基于共同的价值，尤其是开放社会所坚守的民主、言论自由和法治。这些价值对台湾未来长远的安全至关重要，不容小觑。
We look forward to listening and to learning. We will use the knowledge we've gained to consider how we might best counsel the United States to help maintain peace in the Taiwan Strait and freedom and prosperity in Taiwan and throughout the Indo-Pacific region. Thank you.
我们期待聆听和学习，我们也将善用此行所学的知识，来思考如何最好的辅佐美国去协助维护台海和平，以及台湾还有整个印太区域的自由与繁荣。谢谢。
谢谢爱丽丝将军。